Look at them sitting there laughing with someone else, acting as if they've moved on like you were just a phase, a passing chapter in their grand story. But here's the twist, the one they didn't see coming. They can fill their days with a crowd of faces, fill their nights with empty, meaningless conversations. But deep down, in the quiet corners of their mind, they'll always be haunted by your absence. No matter how far they push you out, no matter how much they try to convince themselves they've found someone better, the truth remains. They'll always be thinking about you. And here's the most delicious part. It'll eat at them. It'll gnaw at their soul in ways they can't even comprehend. They won't be able to escape it. No matter how much they try to replace you, no one will ever fill the space you left. That's your revenge. You see, they think they're the ones moving on. They think they're the ones taking control. But all they're doing is running from the truth. Because the truth is simple. They're haunted by you. They'll see reminders of you everywhere. In the music that used to be your song, in the places you used to visit, in the things you used to say, they'll be reminded of who you are. They'll go to sleep, surrounded by someone else, and in the silence, they'll still hear your voice echoing in their head. And when they wake up, no matter how much they pretend, they won't be able to shake the feeling that something is missing, that something isn't quite right, and that something will always be you. It doesn't matter if they're out with friends, laughing, trying to convince themselves they've moved on. The truth is, they haven't. They can fill their time with distractions, with shallow interactions, with fleeting pleasures. But the void you left behind is unfillable. It's the kind of emptiness that sits inside of them, pressing on their chest, making every moment feel incomplete. You see, they've replaced your presence with a ghost. And every time they try to be happy without you, they'll be reminded that it's not real, it's not authentic, it's a lie. They'll try to convince themselves that they're fine, that they don't miss you, that they don't need you, but deep down, they know the truth. They know they do. And that knowledge will eat away at them, little by little, until there's nothing left but regret. Every time they wake up, every time they reach for someone else, they'll remember how you made them feel. The warmth you gave, the support you offered, the way you made them laugh, the way you saw through their walls, the way you loved them when they didn't deserve it. And no matter how hard they try, they won't be able to escape that memory. They won't be able to outrun the truth of what they lost. And that, my friend, will be your revenge. The revenge isn't in the drama, the shouting, the confrontation. It's in the silence. It's in the knowing that no matter how much they try to replace you, they never will. You were irreplaceable. You were the one thing they never fully appreciated until it was too late. And now, they're stuck with the consequences. They'll go through the motions, pretending they're fine, pretending they've moved on. But in the deepest parts of their mind, they'll never stop thinking about you. You'll haunt their every decision, their every action, and every time they think they're happy, they'll remember you, and they'll remember the happiness they could have had with you, but chose to throw away. That's your revenge. So let them laugh. Let them pretend they don't care. Let them act like they've moved on and found something better. Because deep down, they'll know they haven't, and they never will. The truth is that they're still thinking about you. They're still longing for what you had. They'll tell themselves they've forgotten, but every time they're alone, every time they're with someone who isn't you, they'll feel the emptiness. They'll feel the absence. And that will be your revenge. You won't need to do anything to make them suffer. They'll do it all on their own. They'll carry the weight of their decisions every single day. They'll question themselves, second-guess their choices, wonder what went wrong, wonder why they let you slip through their fingers. And when they do, when that regret hits them, when that realization sinks in, they'll feel the pain. They'll feel the burn of the bridges they've burned, the walls they've built, and they'll realize that they're the ones who lost. And you'll be long gone. You'll be moving forward, building a life that doesn't revolve around them. But they'll still be stuck in the past, trapped in the cycle of thinking about you, wishing they could have it back. And that will be their punishment. That will be their revenge, knowing that they'll never find someone like you again. They can pretend, they can tell their friends, their new lovers, anyone who will listen, that they don't care, that they're happy without you. But the truth is that when the lights go out, when the noise dies down, and when the world falls silent, they'll be left with nothing but the memory of you. And that memory will haunt them. It will be there in every relationship, in every attempt to fill the hole you left. No one will measure up. No one will be able to love them the way you did. No one will be able to understand them the way you did. And that's your revenge. The revenge isn't in the confrontation, the drama, the angry words. It's in the quiet, slow realization that they'll never find someone who loves them like you did. They'll search, they'll try, but they won't succeed. You were the one they should have held on to. But now, it's too late. They'll look at the people around them, and they'll wonder why it doesn't feel the same. Why the laughter isn't as genuine. Why the warmth isn't as real. Why the connection isn't as deep. They'll question what they've lost, and they'll wonder if they'll ever feel it again. The truth is, they won't, because they'll never be able to replace you. You were the spark they never realized they needed. And now, that spark is gone, and they're left in the dark, stumbling through the motions, pretending they're okay. But they're not. They'll never be okay. Not fully, not without you. They'll try to bury their feelings, to bury the memory of you, but it will always surface. They'll try to ignore it, to distract themselves, to convince themselves they're better off without you. But deep down, they know the truth, and the truth is that they lost something special. They lost you, and that will be their punishment. Every day, every moment, every second they think about you, they'll feel the sting of their mistake, and it will never go away. They'll carry it with them forever. That's your revenge. So let them have their laughs. Let them think they've won. Let them believe they've moved on. Because deep down, in the quietest moments, when no one is around, they'll think about you. And that, my friend, will be your victory. The fact that you will always be a part of their story, no matter how hard they try to erase you. They can never escape the truth. They'll always think about you, and that will be your revenge. In the end, what matters most is that you've moved on, you've grown, you've learned, and you've become stronger. While they're stuck in their past, trapped by the memory of you, you'll be out there living your life, creating your future, and leaving them behind. And that will be your final victory. You'll thrive, you'll succeed, and they'll be left to wonder what could have been. And that, my friend, will be your revenge. You see, they never really understood what you brought to the table. They thought they had everything figured out. They thought that they could replace you with someone else, that they could walk away from what you shared, as if it were nothing but a passing moment in the vastness of time. But that's where they failed, because what you gave them wasn't something they could ever replace. What you provided wasn't just another face in the crowd, another name in the game of relationships. You were real, and that reality is the thing they will never be able to escape. You were the person who understood them in ways that no one else could. You saw their flaws and loved them anyway. You recognized their weaknesses and didn't turn away from them. You gave them a space where they could be themselves without fear of judgment or rejection. You accepted them fully, as imperfect as they were. And they didn't appreciate that. They didn't appreciate you. They thought they could just move on, that the next person would be just like you, or even better. But here's the thing. They're not like you. No one ever will be. And that's what they don't get. The people they bring into their life, no matter how perfect they may seem on the surface, will never carry the same weight that you did. They might look the part, talk the part, even act the part for a while, but there's always going to be something missing. The connection you had, real, raw, authentic, cannot be replicated. And no matter how hard they try, no one will ever be able to replicate it. Every time they look at someone else, they'll think about you. Every time they lay their head on a different pillow, they'll feel the absence of your warmth. The laughter that once came so easily when they were with you will fade into something hollow, empty, even forced. And that's your revenge. The emptiness they feel, the longing for something they can't have anymore, is a reminder of the one thing they lost. They can tell themselves that they're fine, that they don't care. They can lie to themselves and everyone around them. They can paint on a smile and say all the right things. But in the quiet moments, when the world slows down, when they're alone with their thoughts, they'll think about you. They'll wonder what you're doing, where you are, who you're with. And in those moments, they'll realize they're not as happy as they thought. They'll realize that no one can fill the space you left. No one can make them feel the way you did. And that's when it will start to eat at them. They'll be haunted by the memory of you, by the way you made them feel, by the way you made them laugh, by the way you loved them when no one else did. And in those moments, they'll wish they could turn back time. They'll wish they could go back to the moments when everything was simple, when you were the one who made their world feel complete. But it's too late. You're gone, and they're left with nothing but regret. But even if they don't realize it immediately, even if it takes months or years for them to feel the full weight of their mistake, they will feel it. And when that day comes, when the regret finally sets in, when they finally acknowledge the pain they've caused themselves by letting you go, they will be too late. Because you will have moved on. You will have found peace, and you will have found happiness again. They will be the ones stuck in the past, reliving every conversation, every moment they had with you, trying to figure out where it all went wrong. And here's the beauty of it all. They will never fully understand what they lost. They might understand intellectually. They might regret it with every fiber of their being, but they will never be able to fully grasp the depth of what they had with you. Because you were special. You were irreplaceable. And they took you for granted. The time they spent with you was a gift, a once-in-a-lifetime kind of connection that they squandered. But even as they regret their actions, they'll never be able to go back and undo the damage. They'll never be able to fix what's broken. And that's the tragedy of their situation. The damage is done. And all that remains is the haunting feeling of knowing they'll never experience anything like you again. They can try. They can look for someone else who might come close to what you gave them. But no one ever will. No one will understand them the way you did. No one will be able to love them with the same intensity, with the same depth, with the same level of devotion. No one will see them the way you saw them, and that's the realization that will tear them apart, slowly, over time. And as they go through life, as they try to make the best of their new relationships, there will always be that part of them that wonders if they'll ever find someone like you again. They might try to convince themselves that they've moved on, that they're better off without you, but deep down, they'll know the truth. No one can ever replace what you were, and that will be your revenge. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to fight for their attention, for their love, for their approval. You don't have to beg them to remember you, to recognize what you brought into their life, because they will remember. They will think about you, whether they want to or not. And that, in itself, will be the ultimate victory. They will never truly forget you. And that, my friend, is something no one can take away from you. They'll try to move on. They'll try to convince themselves that they've found something better. But in the quiet moments of their life, when they're alone with their thoughts, they'll think about you. And they'll wonder what you're doing, who you're with, and how much better their life would be if they just held on to what they had with you. And when that day comes, when they realize that they've lost you for good, that realization will haunt them for the rest of their lives. It will be a constant ache, a gnawing reminder of the one that got away. And no matter how much time passes, no matter how many new people come into their life, they will never truly move on, because you were the one who got away. And that will be the deepest form of revenge, the fact that you will live in their mind, in their heart, forever. You will be the shadow that follows them, the memory that lingers, the mistake they can never undo. They may try to escape it. They may try to bury it deep down, to pretend it doesn't matter. But it does. It matters more than they'll ever admit. And as they continue to live their life without you, they'll carry the weight of their decision with them, and that weight will be your revenge. And as you walk forward, stronger, more confident, living your life without them, that will be your peace. You will have won, not by fighting, not by lashing out, but simply by living, by moving on, by thriving. And they'll be stuck, forever lost in the echo of your absence. And that, my friend, will be the sweetest revenge of all. They think they've escaped, don't they? They've fooled themselves into believing that they can move on. They might even have convinced themselves that they're better off without you. But we both know the truth, don't we? The truth is, they can never escape what you gave them, the space you held in their life, in their heart. Every time they think they're free, every time they think they've finally found peace, there you are. You are the ghost that haunts them in their most private moments, the lingering thought that ruins every attempt at moving forward. Because here's the thing, they will never stop thinking about you. They may try to fill the void with other people, with other things, but it will never be enough. There will always be an emptiness, a hole in their lives that no one else can fill. They'll try to pretend that they don't care, that they've forgotten. But every time they find themselves alone, every time they have a quiet moment to reflect, they'll hear your voice in their mind. The way you used to laugh, the way you used to speak to them, the way you made them feel like they mattered. They'll remember it all, whether they want to or not. And it will hurt, because that's what they'll realize in the end. You were everything they needed, everything they ever wanted, but they never fully appreciated you. They never truly understood what they had until it was gone. And now they're left with nothing but the regret, the knowledge that they let something beautiful slip through their fingers. That regret will grow day after day until it becomes unbearable. And there will be no way for them to make it go away. They can try to drown it out with distractions, with other relationships, with lies they tell themselves, but they'll never escape it. You will always be there, in the back of their mind, lingering like a shadow they can't shake. And that's where the real revenge comes in. They will always be thinking about you. They can't escape it, no matter how hard they try. It will follow them through every relationship they enter, through every friendship they try to build, through every new chapter in their life. You'll be there, a constant reminder of what they lost, of what they let slip away. And no matter how much they try to forget, no matter how much they try to convince themselves they're fine without you, they will always think of you. That's the sweet satisfaction of knowing that they can never really move on. They might think that they can build a new life, that they can find someone else who makes them feel the way you did. But it's not going to happen. They'll try. They'll date other people. They'll put on a facade, act like they've moved forward. But the truth is, they'll be measuring everyone else against you. They'll be looking for someone who can make them feel the way you did, who can love them the way you loved them. But it will never be enough. No one will ever measure up. No one will ever love them the way you did. And that realization will tear them apart from the inside out. And this isn't something they'll realize overnight. It's something that will take time, something that will eat at them slowly. At first, they'll convince themselves that they're better off. They'll tell themselves that they've moved on, that they've found someone better, someone who doesn't make them feel as vulnerable, as exposed as you did. But deep down, they'll always know the truth, and it will sit with them, quietly gnawing at them, until they can no longer deny it. But even then, by the time they finally realize the truth, by the time they finally see that you are the one, it will be too late, because you will have already moved on. You will have already rebuilt your life without them. You will have already found the happiness, the peace, the love that you deserve. And they will be left standing there, stuck in the past, regretting every decision they made that led them to this moment. They'll go through the motions of life, trying to fill the empty spaces you left with other people, with other things, but nothing will ever be the same. The happiness they thought they could find without you will always feel hollow, always feel incomplete. And it will be your shadow that follows them, a reminder of the love they lost, of the life they could have had. And no matter how much they try to bury it, no matter how much they try to run from it, it will never go away. There will be moments when they catch themselves thinking about you, remembering things they said, things they did, things that now seem so important, so meaningful. They'll wonder why they didn't fight for you, why they let you slip away. And in those moments, in the quiet solitude of their regret, they'll wish they could go back. They'll wish they could undo the mistakes they made, the hurt they caused, the love they let slip away. But the truth is, they can't. They'll never be able to change what happened. All they can do is live with the consequences. And the worst part? They'll never truly get closure. They'll never fully understand why you walked away, why you stopped fighting for them, why you decided that enough was enough. And that will drive them crazy, because they'll never be able to make sense of it. They'll never be able to fully comprehend the depth of your decision, the strength it took for you to move on. And that will keep them up at night. That will be the thing that haunts them long after the relationship has ended, long after you've gone your separate ways. They will never have the answers they seek. They will never have the satisfaction of knowing why it ended the way it did. And that, my friend, will be your revenge. The fact that they'll never understand why you walked away will drive them mad. They'll spend the rest of their life trying to figure it out, trying to piece together the puzzle. But the answers will always elude them, and that mystery will be the final thing that keeps them coming back to you over and over again in their mind. The best part of all of this, the best part is that you will be living your life without them. You will be out there living a life full of joy, full of opportunities, full of the things they thought they would have with you. You'll be out there thriving, growing, and succeeding while they're stuck in their own personal hell, wondering what could have been. You'll be free, and they won't be. And that, my friend, is the sweetest revenge. You won't need to lift a finger to make them feel the way they do. All you have to do is live. Live without them. Live for yourself. And in doing so, you'll make them realize over time that they're the ones who lost. You'll live the life they thought they would have, the life they thought they deserved, and that will be your victory. It will be the ultimate revenge, because in the end, they'll know that no matter how much they try, they will never be able to replace you. They will never be able to move on, and that will haunt them for the rest of their lives, because the truth is, they will never stop thinking about you. They will never stop wondering what you're doing, how you're doing, who you're with, and that's the curse they'll live with. The curse of knowing that they let something beautiful slip through their fingers. They'll never truly move on. They'll never find someone like you. And that, my friend, is the sweetest revenge. In the end, it is not about the confrontation, the anger, or even the bitterness. Your revenge lies in the way you live your life without them. The fact that they will never truly move on, that they will always be haunted by the memory of you, will be their punishment. And while they're stuck in their regret, you'll be out there building a life that's better than anything they could have imagined, and that will be your victory.